And we're live. Welcome everybody to another episode of Viva Los Bills. I'm your host, Will C, aka Buffalo Will, and my co-host, Vinny.
Vinny, cousin Vinny, what's going on? I'm the Robin to the Batman. What's going on? How you
Good.
doing, Will?
Look at my cat just jumped up behind me to make a cameo live. What the hell?
It's
So,
all
man,
good.
all right, man. We're also produced by Bobby Blackjack. He's off screen right now, but he will pop in from time to time. So let's get this going. Quick update. I mean, it's not really all that new news, but for us, since we haven't done it, it's new. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Before the draft, the Bills exercised the fifth-year option on Tre'Davious White, which was a no-brainer. Now they need to get him signed full. Well, he's going to be
Give him the
probably the
money.
top five cornerbacks.
Give him the money. Give him the money. I'm glad they tendered that. That's awesome.
Exactly. I hope they don't mess it up like Stephon
No.
Gilmore and let
Yep.
him walk. I actually think Tre'Davious White is better at this point than Stephon Gilmore was.
Absolutely.
There you go. Another thing that was done was they signed Evan Boehm, which was like a week before the draft, I believe. He played guard center for the Miami Dolphins. It's more of a depth move. He started 8 games for the Dolphins last year and was considered to be one of the worst starters in the league. So I think it's a
He's-
1 year deal or something, but hey, it's just for depth, most likely.
yes, sir.
Before the Bills also drafted, they signed Garrett McGinn, offensive lineman that spent most of the time in training camp last year as an undrafted free agent. Honestly, I went back and I watched some of his tape from 2018. Uh, I watched footage against the game they played against Old Dominion. Sometimes he looked good. The one thing I didn't like was in those games when he was pass protecting, a lot of times he dropped back and it was almost like he dropped into the quarterback.
Mm.
I didn't like that. Hopefully, spending time on the practice squad, he fixed that. He did something right that the Bills signed him. Did you get to see anything on this kid?
Um, Not really. I didn't really like that. I know he's a big kid, man. He's 6'6".
Okay.
Um, I didn't really pay attention to any of his video. I didn't look him up really, to be honest with you. On
Okay. Yeah, no, it's hard finding stuff out there. So,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, I watched one game against Old Dominion, and he looked out of sync sometimes, but I guess he might have fixed that. Now, let's go on to the Bills draft. That happened.
He was
Uh, Go ahead.
no, I thought isn't then wasn't he on injured reserve?
I don't know if he was on injury reserve. I know they said he was on on the practice squad. So
Okay,
that's
okay.
all I read about him. Well, like I said, I just went to go look up footage and pretty much didn't find much out there.
Yeah, I didn't get any footage on him, but I know I believe he was on injured reserve and then wound up getting signed on the practice squad.
Okay.
And he actually got to the got actually what it said. I just found a little bit something on him that he was actually on the active roster in November, and he played 2 games
Nice.
before being placed on injured reserve in December, and then
Okay.
that's when they waived him in March. So
Well, there you go. See? Good. On the spot information from Cousin Vinny.
yes, sir. Yes,
Doesn't get
sir.
any better than that.
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. Let's get to the draft. And I must give you some props because at least you picked somebody that the Bills actually picked. You
I
know,
got one.
you got one.
Woo-hoo! One. One.
That's better than me. I got none. So,
But to be honest with you, a lot of these picks, I knew we had to go definitely on the edge guy,
uh
and so I knew that would have been one of the top 2 picks. It had to be an edge guy. But
yes.
all these other ones, we're gonna get into with Jake Fromm. I mean, it's some crazy stuff going on. So I know me and you're gonna probably disagree on some of these things, but that
Uh,
makes for a good show, I guess.
yeah. Let's just finish giving you off some props. You picked Isaiah Hodgins to go in the 5th round, and he actually got picked up in the 6th round with their first
Sixth
pick.
round. Yes,
So
sir.
look at you. Good stuff. I gotta give you
Woo!
credit. Credit where credit's due, man.
I like that kid.
All right, let's start off with the first pick, which was in the second round, the 54th pick, AJ Epinesa, defensive end out of Iowa, 6'6", 280. Uh, he had, where is this? He had in total in his 3 years as a starter over there, he had 26 and a half sacks at Iowa. His stats from last year, he had 49 tackles, 32 of those were solo, 11 and a half sacks, 14 for losses. He had 3 pass deflections, which I didn't know, and he had 4 forced fumbles. So, I mean, those stats were looking good. Another thing I noticed was looking at his past stats at Iowa, every year they improved. They got better every year. So, I mean, with 3 pass deflections, one thing I like is that they jump up when the ball is thrown and trying to bat it down so he doesn't quit on the play, even though some people were saying he did take plays off. Hopefully
Mhm.
that gets cured and he doesn't have that problem in the pros. I mean, I
Yeah.
like the kid. I didn't think he was going to be available. What do you think?
Same here, man. I didn't even think he would have been, taken so late. I thought he would be like a number, in the 20s.
Hmm.
The kid's a beast. He's 6'6". He comes from a football lineage. His dad's a coach. I believe his dad played defensive tackle for 2 years, I think, for Iowa, not Iowa, but Iowa Southern or something like one of those colleges. Mom was on track. His brother's going to play foul as a linebacker. This
Yeah.
kid is 6'6", 280. I think his stock went down. I've heard some discussions that his stock went down because of his 40 time. He did a 5 flat, so people weren't really too keen on his speed. So that's why his stock dropped in the draft.
Yeah.
But like I told you before, there's some guys on paper look great, but this is one of the guys that has that game speed, that has that drive. Like I told you before the draft, looking at him, to me, coming off the ball, he's a little bit slow. You said he was explosive. I, on the other hand, thought he was a little bit slow,
Okay.
but he's got one of the guys. He's one of these guys that the motor just keeps going. He
Hmm.
just keeps going, keeps going. He gets to the ball. The guy is incredible. Like I said, 6'6", 280. His hands are huge. His wingspans are like 93 inches. His hands are 10.3 inches from pinky to thumb. So he got some paws on him. If he grabs you, he ain't gonna let you go.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased with this pick. Like I said, I thought he would get picked up before we got him. So to me, it's a steal. He's a steal, man. I'm hoping he'll turn out good for us. So that's where we're at. He's a beast in my eyes. I like him. I like this kid.
Yeah, I like him. I believe he will play at least some this year. Uh, I mean, with the moves they've made, there is a lot of depth, but as of right now, they have him behind Trent Murphy penciled in. But again, who knows? We'll see how
Mm.
camp goes and everything. All right. Oh, by the way, his first sack in college was against
Was
Josh Allen.
against Josh Allen. Yes, sir.
I messed up with
I seen
that.
that. How cool is that? Now at
Yeah,
least we don't have. He's not on another team to do that again to Josh.
exactly. All
But
right,
that's a
so we
cool.
go
That's a
down.
cool tidbit right there. That's a cool tidbit. His first collegiate sack was against Josh Allen. How cool
Yeah,
is that?
that was pretty cool to find out. We move on to the third. Okay, by the way, so just everybody knows, me on draft day, I wasn't too happy. With some of these
I was
picks,
happy. I was
you
all
know,
right. You see?
he was happy. It's true. We were texting each other during the draft. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? I was happy with AJ. And then after that, certain things started happening. And I was like, ah. But after a few days, I do feel better about the draft. So on that note, let's go to the third round, 86th pick. We picked up Zach Moss, running back from Utah, 5'10", 222 pounds. Last year he had 235 carries, 1,416 yards, 15 touchdowns. He averaged 6 yards a carry. Catching the ball, he had 28 catches, 388 yards receiving, and he added 2 touchdowns with 6.9 average. So in a total, what was it? Yeah, he had 1,804 yards with 17 touchdowns last year at Utah.
Yes,
When
sir.
I'm going from here, in total, he had 712 carries while at Utah, and his average 1,000, more than 1,000 yards for the 3 years as a starter. I mean, he's a bruising back who likes to initiate contact and can catch the ball. Those are my notes on him. What do you think? What do you feel or think about Zach
I
Moss?
like. I like him. I thought actually when we were going down the board, I thought we wound up getting AJ Dillon, but I think
Mm,
this is a great pick for us. Um, he's a north south guy, which I told you we wanted to get. We mean you
mhm.
had discussed that. He's a great complementary back to Singletary. Singletary shifty. This guy's a north-south guy. He likes punishment. He likes to punish people, which is it's sort of like a mini version or newer version of Frank Gore, which I like about him. The only thing I did not like, and I don't know if you noticed it, was when they called him. Maybe it was the delay, but when they called him that he was playing on the Buffalo Bills, the family didn't look too ecstatic. They were like,
Oh, no.
you know what I mean? So I was like, oh man, it's like I worry about stuff like that. You know what I mean? But other than that, the kid's a beast. He's University of Utah all-time leader in carries. He's an all-time leader in rushing yards. He's an all-time leader in rushing touchdowns. He's an all-time leader in career 100 rushing games with 18. All-time leader in career touchdowns scored with 38. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. This kid's a beast. I hope he turns out the way he looks on paper. If he has the love, it when Buffalo, when he goes to Buffalo, when they show him some love, hopefully he'll come through because that really worried me when they called his name. I was like, oh man, usually people are ecstatic, they cried, they were like
They weren't
looking
too
like,
happy.
nah, that kind of worries me. But other than that, I like the pickup. We got a north and south guy. I like the pickup. Bottom line.
Yeah, at first I wasn't too happy because in our other show I said
See,
I don't.
you like his family, then you see.
No, I can see his family for a different reason, but I thought we didn't need a running back until later on in the draft, and I thought we could get one. After
Yes,
watching
sir.
some like footage on this kid, he is a beast. I mean, I don't know. I was like tossed up. Why didn't they take AJ Dillon? But a lot of people had Zach Moss above him or ahead of him.
Mhm.
I saw him running, and yeah, he is. He puts the shoulder in, and he's hitting people, and he's putting up touchdowns, and it's an average 6 yards a carry.
That's
Also,
that's that's amazing.
yeah, and
That's
also
pretty
for the
good.
last, I think, 3 years or whatever his time in Utah, he averaged over 1,000 yards every season. So you can't
Wow.
go wrong there. You
No,
know,
he originally was actually he originally had committed to the University of Miami, but then he
okay.
declined it and changed over to play for the University of Utah. Just a small tidbit on him,
Oh, nice.
and he's from Miami, so
The one thing I could say, see if his family was upset to go to
mhm.
Buffalo, is that most likely he's going to split time. He's not going to be the main back.
Yeah,
Unless something happens to
absolutely.
Singletary, maybe they wanted to go somewhere where they could be a main back, or maybe a little closer to Utah or wherever his family's from, or if they're from Miami, maybe they're Dolphin fans. Who knows?
I think it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna work out because they actually know each other because they're from the same area in
Okay.
Miami. So I've seen some interviews that they've spoken to each other, and as long as that chemistry's there, man, I think it'll be all right splitting time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't. I mean, there's no reason he should slide in to the number two spot right away. Uh, I don't know. I don't think he will have a problem going to the second spot.
Another little tidbit: he was a Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year last year, so that's big stuff.
Yeah, it just keeps coming and coming and coming.
Yeah, man.
All right. So that now we move on to the fourth round, where again I was a little surprised, but they went Gabriel Davis, wide receiver, UCF. This kid's 6'3", 212 pounds. Last year he had 72 catches for 1,241 yards. He had 12 touchdowns and averaged 17.2 yards a catch. I mean,
Yes, sir.
game. My notes on him: the kid has great hands. He can run the fly and post route, but there's question about him running other routes. What
Mm.
I saw, I mean, this kid catches everything. His
He's
hands,
got good hands. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
I mean, he was compared to Odell Beckham. At one point, I think he said he didn't want to be compared to him, but his hands, the number 13, his hair at the time, everything looked like Odell. uh, the only thing they say he
Now,
needs to improve on his route runnings. So,
absolutely. I've seen some video on him. He's actually from my I live over here in Daytona Beach area. So
mhm,
he's about 30 miles south in a little town called Sanford. He went to Sanford Seminole High School. So I've been kind of reading up on him a little bit, being that he's from the area, and he dominated as a high school player. So I'm excited for him. He's a big guy. I don't know how he's going to fit in. I mean, that's the guy we need. Red zone type of guy, big guy, tall guy, good hands. The only thing I don't know how is he going to fit in is Duke going to be cut because of it because it's a kind of a similar player. But as a freshman in 2017, he played and started all 13 games. He had 27 catches for 391 and 4 touchdowns, which is pretty good. That was as a freshman. As a true freshman, actually, as a sophomore in 2018, he started 12 of 13 games and had 53 receptions for 815 yards and 7 touchdowns. And he returned as a starter as his junior year. And after that season, he wound up, declaring for the draft.
Mhm.
So what I like about him is that as a true freshman, as freshman, his numbers just keep coming up and coming up and coming up. And you're right. I seen some video on him the other day. Actually, after he got drafted, he went and he went in the backyard somewhere and they were throwing the ball at him, and his hands are incredible.
Yeah.
But they're all straight routes that he run. I didn't see nothing spectacular in the cuts. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like a fly guy, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean.
So I
So
mean, with that, he's going to be competing with Diggs and Brown. I mean, he needs to do more routes. I mean, you can give those guys a
let me see.
break, which would be good, you know. But
Yeah,
again, we have a lot of depth over there, and I mean,
and we have a lot of speed. This kid, listen, for
yes,
his height and his weight, he ran a 4.54. That's pretty quick for a big guy like that. I mean, we a lot of teams I noticed when they drafted this year were built on speed. A lot of these guys are just picking up speed, speed, speed. And to have a big guy with good hands like that, with a running a 4.5, is pretty doggone good. I'm excited about him.
yeah, I like him. Again, that was another. I think I had the first receiver going maybe in the fifth or sixth round. Quick thing, we have a Howard Stetsky said the best player on our team is Tremaine Edwins. That's a
Edward,
possibility. Yeah,
Edmonds,
Edmonds.
Edmonds, Edmonds.
Edmonds.
Yes, linebacker.
So yeah, he might be right. That's debatable. We
That
could talk
kid's only
about that
20. Look what
afterward.
he's done already. Yeah, yeah. That's another show. But
Yeah,
that
no,
kid's a beast.
he
He's
is.
not even 20 years old, and
No, I think
he's
he is 20 now, isn't
awesome.
he? I think
Yeah,
he
he's
came
20.
in at
Yes,
19, which was ridiculous, and he started at 19,
beast,
middle
beast.
linebacker.
I love
Yeah,
the kid. Love the
me
kid.
too. That's another guy they need to keep and not let go.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's jump on to the fifth round. I was scratching my head. Jake Fromm, QB, Georgia, 6'2", 220. He was completed 234 passes out of 385 for 2,860 yards, average 7.4 yards average. That was his average. His passing percentage was 63.3. He threw for 24 touchdowns. The one thing I do like, he only threw 5 interceptions. Wasn't sure why. I guess it is what's his name's last year. And I don't know what happened to the court QB from Buffalo. Are we giving up on him? Your
No,
feelings on Jake?
I think he was the best player on the board at the time, and being that I truly think New England was trying to get him, and I think we kind of cut their ankles off and got him. He was the best player on the board at the time. I mean, the kid's a beast too. I mean, he's 6'2", got good vision. They say he's extremely accurate. You know what I mean? I like this pick because if it's going to make Josh Allen a better quarterback, number one, it's going to push him. Um, and what's the name? His backup only got 1 year left on his contract.
Matt Barkley.
So
Barkley will be
Matt
gone.
Barkley will be, he'll probably be gone after this. But then again, this could be a good. How am I going to say this? Either he plays for us or he's a good bargaining chip for a trade. One or the other. You know
Well,
what
I
I mean?
mean,
That's the way I look at it.
if you look at the Bills depth chart right now, you got Josh Allen, Matt Barkley. They
Webb's
already
probably
they
gone.
already have Jake Fromm in front of Webb. So yeah, Webb most
Oh,
likely will be
Webb's
gone.
probably gone.
So I
They
mean,
got him. They
I
got
don't
him as
mind
Jake
him at
from
all.
State Farm.
State
That's what
Farm.
this.
so yeah, another guy who says hi, by the way, is Kurt, and he's from the K&K show, one of our
What's
sisters
up,
or brother
brother?
shows, or however you want to say it. All right, so we move on from Jake. By the way, I watched footage on him. I liked him. He looked sharp. Some of his passes were a little behind, but he looked good. And he's going to sit. He's not going to start unless something
Absolutely.
happens to Josh. And if Barkley doesn't stay as a backup, he's going to sit and learn, which he should do. Now we jump into the sixth round. They take a kicker. Another time I scratching my head over here. A kicker in the sixth round when you have all these I thought needs on the team, not so much for starting, but for more depth and just to push other guys.
Absolutely.
We go for a kicker, Tyler Bass out of Georgia Southern. He's 5'10", 183 pounds. In 3 years, these are my notes on him. He missed two extra points, made 79% of his field goals, and he led the FBS with 27 made field goals from 40 plus yards. So we know he could kick the ball. I mean, you sent me that video of him just standing still, kicking, not
A
even
50
moving,
yarder
50-yarder with, and
with
cleared it.
no steps, with
No
no
step.
steps, a 50 yarder. That's incredible. When he takes two steps, 60 yards. Now, granted, he's not in the Buffalo, he's not in Orchard Park kicking in the wind and the rain, but that's going to be something to be seen. You know what I mean? But this kid is awesome, man. I mean, he led the Sun Belt Conference with 102 points. Um, Extra point attempts, he had 118, which is numbers is ranked 16 since 1956 in the Sun Belt Conference. Extra points made, he had 114, which is number 14 in the Sun Belt Conference since 1956. Field goal attempts, he had 28, which is number one in the Sun Belt Conference for the year. And for his career, he had 68, which ranked number 6 in the Sun Belt Conference. Field goals made in 2019, he was ranked number 1 in the Sun Belt Conference. 2019, he had, and 2018, I'm sorry, in 2019, he had 20, which is number 1 also. In career field goals made, he ranked number 4 since 1956. In field goal percentage, he had 90.5 uh, uh, percentage, which was number 1 in the Sun Belt Conference. And for a career, he was 79.4, which is number 5 all time in the Sun Belt. So this kid's putting up, consistent numbers. I like his leg. Like I said, we got to see. I've seen a couple of him also indoor kicking extremely far. I mean, can that translate in a game, a live speed with guys coming at you, with 20 mile per hour winds and rain? We're going to see. But I think it's a good pickup. Hauschka might be on the hot seat because of the games he had a couple years ago. He missed a couple field goals and a couple extra points.
Yeah.
But everybody has a bad day, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. So we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
how it plays out in camp.
It's crazy to me though is that we have three kickers on our staff right now, with Haska, and then we have Care from last year. We also have two punters. I mean, we have Corey, and actually
Porcas.
Care Vidic or whatever how you say it. He kicks and punts, which I kind of like that because you kill two birds with one stone. I don't know why a
Yes,
lot of players
absolutely,
don't do that, especially if you're a kicker in college. You should learn to punt also. You have better
absolutely.
chances. So I mean, Steven, didn't they just re-up his contract too? I thought. What I mean,
Uh,
are you going to cut him? I
they
mean, you could save some money, but then we're going to have dead money. So
it's
we,
definitely going to be interesting in camp. It's
yeah,
definitely going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I'm really intrigued. The kid has a leg. There's no doubt about it. When you could kick a 50-yard field goal without taking any step, that's like a 5'8" guy dunking without running, just right there doing a vertical and dunking. You know what I
right.
mean? It's incredible. He's got incredible athleticism. He's got a great leg. So we're gonna see how that pans out. I mean, being and McDermott surprised me in this draft. I wasn't expecting any. Besides the AJ getting a good, edge guy,
Mhm.
uh, and the running and the quarterback from. I mean, these are some surprising picks that me and you
Uh,
talked about it. It's
You
like
know, I was texting you, especially after when I saw a kicker. I was like, beep, 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 beep.
as soon as I saw him, I'm like, who the heck is this kid? I started looking. I saw that video. I was like,
uh,
I see why. I mean, you can't find good kickers nowadays.
hey,
Bottom line, you
well,
can't find really good kickers. So
the Raiders
I
many,
like the
many
pickup.
years ago took him in a kicker in the first round. So everybody thought they were crazy. Fifth round, I guess it's not as bad, but I wasn't thinking kicker. Now we
What was his
move
name?
on
What
to
was his
our
name?
Janikowski.
Stojanowski. What was his name?
Yeah,
Janikowski. He was actually
Janikowski.
from the Daytona Beach area, from
Oh, was
Mainland
he?
High School over here in Florida. Yep, that's where he's
I
from.
know.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we move to your pick, Isaiah Hodgins.
Yep.
Wide receiver, Oregon State, 6'4", 209 pounds, 86 catches, 1,171 yards, 13 touchdowns. He averaged 13.6 yards. Uh, my notes on him: catches everything, gets off the ball well. It's almost the same thing I wrote before, and I went and watched more footage on him. He seems to find the open pockets. He can run a route, and if the quarterback needs him, he seems to find the right spot. Uh, and at this point, at 6'4", he's our tallest receiver on our roster. So that's another plus. I
I'm
must
excited
say,
for him.
if I'm looking at him and Davis, I think Isaiah runs better routes than Davis does. I
Really?
think Davis has better hands, but I think Isaiah runs better routes. Besides the
That
fly, on the post.
Yeah, yeah. This kid, I like this kid a lot. I like his route running. He comes from a lineage also. His dad played fullback in the NFL. His father was
Hmm.
James Hodgins. His brother also plays at Oregon State. So, they come when you get these guys that come from a football family. They grew up in football, so they know what they're doing. At least they're quick learners, or they're good with the mental aspect of football.
Yeah,
I really like this kid a lot. I actually thought he was going to go a little bit higher than what he did, but
hmm,
I'm glad we picked him up. He's a great, great, great guy. He's big, like I
yeah,
said. We need that red zone guy. We need that. I mean, we got all the speedy receivers, the smaller, quicker guys. We got the slot lockdown. We just needed that. To me, last year, I wish we would have had Duke in there a couple more. In different situations. I wish
yeah.
they would have put Duke in there. Um, because when he did go in there, he made some incredible plays.
Well, there
But
was
we
some
definitely
plays
need.
with him and Allen that were insane. Allen threw some balls in perfect spots, and Duke was catching everything.
Yep,
So I mean,
yep,
he showed he could play. Now
absolutely.
with this depth, let's see if he gets in. You know,
Yeah, that's going to be a tough one. But I like this kid. Do I like him better than Duke? It's yet to be seen because college is way different than NFL. So we're going to see how he adapts to the game speed. But as on paper and how he looks in college and his height and his strength in his hands, I'm looking forward to good things for him. So we'll see how it plays out.
yeah, that's sky's the limit for these kids.
Yes, sir.
We go off in the seventh round. Dane Jackson, cornerback, Pittsburgh, 6 foot tall, 180 pounds. He had 43 tackles, 30 solo, one pick, three tackles for losses. My notes on this kid: most likely a nickelback, but can play outside. Uh, Likes to come up and pop it back. Him and actually Gabriel Davis had some battles. If you want to go look at some footage of
Mhm.
Pitt against UCF, I mean, it was back to back, back to back, back to back.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't know how much trash talking they did with each other, but now they can do it in
Now they're
practice,
teammates.
but they're on the same team.
Now they're gonna do
So
it in practice. Yeah.
yeah, go watch some film footage if you want to watch that old game. It's on YouTube. I mean, what did your takes on this kid?
um, I like this kid. He originally played quarterback in high school. I don't know if you knew that. He
No.
actually redshirted his freshman year. Um, he was like a reserve role his freshman year, but then he started every game after his sophomore year, which is good because you come off from a red shirt to be a complete starter for his sophomore, junior, and his senior year. His senior year, he led Pitt with 12 pass breakups, had 43 tackles, three for loss, an interception, and a sack assist.
Okay.
And after his senior season, he was named second team All Atlantic ACC, All ACC, and took part of the 2020 Senior Bowl. I guess that's where his stock went up when he went to the Senior Bowl.
Hmm.
I like this kid, physical. Like you said, he's going to be good in a nickelback position. He's got good height, good weight. I didn't see his speed in the combine. I don't know how fast he ran. Maybe you have that information, but
I don't.
this is
I
one of
don't
those
have it.
kids that this is one of the kids that I like. That got that game speed, like we were talking about.
Yeah, one thing. He was a team leader. I think he was captain as well. So it just goes to show you, he earned a spot over there in Pitt and played tough. He has that grit. So in our first seven picks, the Bills went with a defensive end, QB, running back, two wide receivers, and a kicker. Now we go off onto the undrafted picks. I was waiting to see these guys. When I saw some of them, they made me feel a little better of the draft. After the draft, I was giving the Bills maybe a C plus. I mean, I told
See, I
you
went a
I
little bit
wasn't too
higher.
happy. with the whole draft when it was going down. Like I said, you love the draft.
I liked it. I liked it. I gotta say, I gotta give them a B, maybe B plus. I liked what they're trying to do. I like the depth, what they're trying to do. They're making the positions competitive. They're keeping Josh Allen where he needs to be, working hard. Not don't take any snaps off. He needs to be on there. Jake Fromm gonna help him out. I'm excited. I'm excited. I like the pickup of Zach Moss. Like I said, we got the north south guy. I saw a couple interviews of him. I've seen film on him. This guy looks for contact. I mean, if he could avoid you, he'll avoid you. But if he knows that you're coming to him, he's gonna make you pay, and he loves that. He tries. And in an interview I saw with him, he said it. He said, "I want to set the tone. When they come tackle me, I want to set the tone that it's going to be a physical game." And I like that. I mean, I love Singletary. I love his shiftiness. I love the way he catches out the backfield. I love everything about Singletary. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. The only thing we need that back in the third and short, like
Right.
Frank Gore. We need a guy, and I think this is a great replacement for him. Would rather have AJ Dillon? That's debatable because now I'm looking at Zach Moss and like, man, this is a great running back. I mean, and the only thing I didn't like I said to you, was when he got drafted, when his family was like, it's like, oh man. But
It happens. Look at Jim Kelly, man. He cried.
that's the same thing. That's the same thing. And hey, wait till he gets some of them buffalo wings, man. He gonna love it up there.
Oh, hey, everybody always seems to be like Buffalo, Buffalo, but when they get there, they love it. All right.
Absolutely.
Just also, by the way, Big Bobby Jonathan, who is also one of the shows, our brother sister shows, says hi. Says we're doing a great show. Thank
What's
you, Big.
up? What's up?
All right, let's move on to the undrafted picks. I liked it. Here, the first one we ended up getting, I guess, no specific order. Trey Adams, offensive lineman from Washington, 6'8", 314 pounds. He was a possible second or third rounder. He dropped because of past injuries. I've watched film on this guy. Once he puts those big mitts on you, he pretty much holds you there. The problem is injuries. I mean, that when I saw him up there, I was like, all right, hopefully the Bills take him in the 7th round or the 6th round. And then he dropped. And then I was like, maybe take him in the 7th. And then he dropped. And nobody took him. And I saw when the next day I looked, saw him on the Bills. I was like, you know what? I like that. It helps with our depth on O-line. If this kid needs to sit a year and heal, he could do that. I like that pick.
I like him. I like his size. He's a humongous Bohemian guy. I mean, this guy is 6'8", 327. So we're gonna add some big beef on that line, and I'm loving it. I like it. I like this guy. But like you said, he's a little bit injury prone. So they said he's been working out, gained 10 more pounds, and he's eating really well. So, and he's working out every day. So he's actually getting back in shape. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm liking this kid. I mean, he's a big guy, 6'8".
Yeah,
I can't even imagine a monster. So I'm digging it.
Now we move over to Garrett Taylor, safety, Penn State, 6 foot, 198. He had 84 tackles, 47 of those were solo, 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 1 forced fumble. Good size at 6 foot. Plays zone well is what my notes I have here. I mean, he could cover wide receiver, could cover the tight ends. I like the way he's on when he's moving back, when the play is happening. He always seems to keep his eye on the play, on the quarterback, as well as his player. I like it. And one thing I noticed, he always wraps up. I like that. He
Good
pretty
tackler,
much
good
made
sound tackler.
all his tackles. I don't know if you have any notes on him.
All I have is that he made 13 starts. He was selected as team captain. So for Penn State and Indy Lions, that's pretty impressive. He like you said, he has great tackling skills. I like this kid. I think he's got big potential with us.
Yeah. I also said we needed a safety and went out and got a safety. You know, they must have heard me. Yeah, right. Now, another running back.
I'm trying to find his speed, his
combine stats.
his 40 time. Yeah, I couldn't find any 40 time on him.
I honestly didn't look up much 40 times on anybody. I should have on the receivers, but I didn't. Another guy we got was Antonio Williams, running back out of North Carolina, 5'11", 215. He didn't. I mean, I don't know why he didn't get many carries. I don't know if he was injured or what. So last year he had 48 carries, 322 yards. He averaged 6.7 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. Positive thing for him, over the last 3 years, he's averaged over 5 yards a carry, which I liked. Uh, in 2000, where's this? 18, he had 504 yards with 5 touchdowns. Again, I'm not sure about these if he had injuries or whatever. The one things I did notice on film when I watched him, I mean, he hits the hole hard. He gets to the next level pretty fast, and if they're not taking him down, he's getting yards. This guy's a north
Yes.
and south guy, and he could catch a swing and a screen pass with ease,
Yep.
and he takes it 5-6 yards each time. I mean, he was hitting the hole hard. Like I said, I don't know if he had injuries or whatever, but the kid runs hard, catches, and he plays well. I like him.
I don't have anything on injuries on him, but I do know that he's actually a special teams player too. Does some
Okay.
kickoff returning, so that's a double threat too. So that's a good thing, um, because we're gonna need some special teams guys also. So I believe he got a couple kick returns last year
Okay.
in a 2019 season. He had two kick returns for 32 yards, and so I mean in one game. So I guess they're trying to fit him in as a special teams guy. So if we could pick him up, like now that we picked him up and he gets some, he's definitely gonna have some special team time first, and see how he develops. I'm all for it. I think he'll be all right.
All right, another guy, Big T, popped on and asked where my cats were. Big T, you missed it. She popped up right in the beginning of the show. She'll probably pop up again at some point. Moving to the next guy. This guy I like, Josh Thomas, defensive back, Appalachian State, 6 foot, 205 pounds. Corner, 72 tackles, 51 solo, one pick, one touchdown. I like him. Seems to always get to the ball, make a tackle. He's there, likes to lay a hard hit. He was a defensive captain, so he's a team guy. Yeah, he was one of the leaders of the captains. This guy, all I see is big hits, and he might not get all the picks, but he just seems to be right there at the right time. Almost gets the pick, but he breaks up the plays. He's hitting people hard. I like him. I think he actually could push one of these guys out.
I like this kid. Like you said, he was a 2-year captain. Um, oh, my little doggy. Um, Hold on a minute.
It's
Sorry about that.
all right.
Um,
We're live.
with him, yeah, we're live. When he was with Appalachian State, they went 52-12 in the past 5 seasons. He was part of just the fifth class in college football history to win 5 bowl games and 4 conference championships. I like this kid a lot, and I'm looking forward to great things from him.
Yep. I could see him making the team. Now we moved on to a guy which I really didn't find many stats. You ended up sending me something about him. Reggie Gillian, fullback / tight end from Toledo, 6'1", 255 pounds. In 2019, his stats are not very impressive. He had 9 catches, 52 yards, 5.8 yards average, no touchdowns. 3 years at Toledo, he had 18 catches, 153 yards, averaged 8.5 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that was his actually running as a fullback. As a
Yep.
receiver, he had 2 catches, 1 yard, 1 touchdown. Uh,
Yeah,
and
I know they got him as a tight end, but I think they're gonna try to. I think personally that they're gonna try to fit him in as a fullback somehow. I don't know why, but I mean, like you say, he started 12 games at tight end. He had a career best 9 receptions. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. This one has me a little perplexed. So we're gonna see how it goes, man.
the one thing that you sent me, which says he's supposedly a big time special teamer. He had 6
Yeah,
block kicks.
yep,
At 6'1", 255, that's a
55.
big boy at tight
That's
end.
a big
Maybe
boy.
not as tall. I could see him as a fullback tight end if he catches more balls than he did all in college.
I
It's a
think that's I
possibility.
think that's what they liked about him, of those 6 block kicks as
Mhm.
a special teams guy.
Okay,
But what do we know? You know what I mean? I mean, who knows? Brandon Bean and McDermott probably seen something else, some other potential, because
maybe.
I think our tight end position is pretty locked, in my
Yeah,
opinion. I think we're pretty good. It's either for depth that they got him, or for special teams. So I'm going with the special teams.
I could see that. I mean, unless they want to get rid of what's his name, Demarco, is it?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if they're gonna do that.
We'll
I
see.
like
They'll save
DeMarco.
some money. Now we go on to offensive lineman Brandon Walton, Florida Atlantic, 6'5", 300 pounds. Most likely he'll play guard. He's a work in progress, and I can see him on the practice squad. I watched some film on him. There was times he looked like a fish out of water. So, I mean, I could see him making the practice squad. I don't think he'll be on the roster, you know. So, but he's a big boy at 6'5". Another guy we have was Marquel Harrell, offensive guard out of Auburn, 6'3", 309 pounds. I mean, once he gets those hands on those defensive tackles for the videos I
Yeah,
saw, they weren't going nowhere. He was on
he's
point, but pulling, he might be a little slow to me. I saw he looked like he was always lagging, but if he's not pulling, he was locking guys down. So I like that.
yeah.
You know,
I like this kid. I mean, he's big, he's 6'3", 309. He was a returning starter left guard. 31 career starts, SEC academic honor roll. So he's a smart guy. Um, I, like you said, man, I've seen film on him, and once he locks on you, but the pulling is also a concern because I don't like the way he pulls. He's really he's kind of lagging, like
yeah,
you said,
he
if
was
that's
slow.
a better term for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I don't know if
other
they'll
than
be
that,
able to move him outside, but I mean, just like I said, if he's not pulling, the guy can lock people down. He's a
yeah,
big boy, you know.
he's definitely a work in progress, and I know they're going to work with him. So, is it a bad pickup? I don't think so. Well, I
No,
mean,
he played in
well,
Auburn, so that's good. He played
yeah, it's a
against a
good
lot of
lineage
top
there.
players, so he knows what he's doing. If they could work on that speed, we'll see. Maybe he can make the squad.
Yes,
Moving
sir.
on to Isaiah E.K. Brown, cornerback, FIU, 6 foot, 191 pounds. I have his 40 yard was 4.46. Where am I? His career, 101 tackles, 5 interceptions. Not afraid to challenge the receivers. He will bump and grind. Him and John Brown, actually, they come from the same town of Alexander, I guess, over there in Florida.
Hmm.
And that's all I have on him. I couldn't really find much on this kid. I was looking and looking. I saw some like old high
You talking
school
about the
stuff.
DB, right? That
Yeah,
DB Isaiah Brown. Okay,
yeah,
okay. From
yep.
FIU. Yep. By the
So
way, getting back to Zach Moss, I didn't know his cousin was Santana Moss
well, I didn't
from the
know that
Jets.
either.
Yeah,
Really?
and what's the other guy's name? Oh my gosh, I can't get it. He had the weird name too. Also, Moss. Oh my gosh, I'll look it up in a little bit. But I
So
definitely know he was Santana Moss's cousin.
if he plays like
So
Santana Moss, we got something good.
some lineage. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Another guy they added on the other day was Mike Bell, linebacker. He also played safety a lot out of Fresno State, 6'3", 220. Uh, Career at Fresno, he had 199 tackles, 4 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, 12 pass deflections, which is pretty cool, and 9 tackles for loss. This guy can cover a receiver or a tight end, and he plays hard. He likes to pop people, and I like the way how you could see him reading the plays out there. He's not getting lost. He looks
Yep.
like he's on point out there.
I like his size. I like his
Hmm.
size. I like his speed. He's 6'3", 203. Um, uh, like I said, like you said, he finished the career with 198 tackles, 8.5 tackles for losses, 4 interceptions, 16 pass deflections, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 forced fumble, and he made 23 consecutive starts at free safety for Fresno State and played in
Yeah.
38 career games. But like I said, what I like about him is his size. He's a big guy, quick guy. We'll see how it goes. Good tackler.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll play outside linebacker. He is a little small, but
Yeah,
Matt Milano used to play safety too, and they moved him, and he's a
they
beast on
moved him up.
outside
Yeah,
linebacker.
but he's put on he's put on some
Oh,
muscle, bro. Have you seen him
oh
late?
yeah,
This guy, I'm excited about Matt Milano. So
yeah, I
see
like
how
him,
it
and
goes.
that's like there's a few core guys I like that need to stay on this team.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so after all was said and done, we ended up with 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 3 offensive linemen, 1 defensive end, 1 safety, 2 corners, and 1 kicker. And by NFL.com, we moved up in the power rankings from 8 to 6. I don't know if that's a
Good.
good thing, but hey, that's what we got.
I like that finally people are giving the Buffalo Bills the recognition they need.
Well,
I mean, I know it's starting to look good on paper, but I mean, after last year's season, I mean, we weren't, they weren't looking at us to be 500 team, and we surprised a lot of teams. And now with these pickups, I'm so excited. I mean, Bean is off the chain. I mean, he's been doing a lot from what he inherited from Doug Whaley to up to this point. It's like he's a genius. You know what I mean? So I'm excited on the future of this team, what
yeah,
Bean and McDermott are doing, and uh, the 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 feel in Buffalo of all these guys that are blue collar workers. They just want to play football. And he said about like AJ Epinesa, he's like, he fell down. He was surprised. AJ Epinesa is going to have a chip on his shoulder. Mark my words. He's going to come in there. He's going to work hard because he was supposed to be a first rounder, maybe in the top 20, and he fell. So he's definitely going to have a chip on his shoulder.
oh yeah.
And so is Jake Fromm too. Jake Fromm too. He should have went higher, but we'll see how these guys pan out. Hopefully, they come with a chip on their shoulder and come out to play. But one thing he said about AJ Epinesa, going back to him, is his stock went down because of his 40 time,
Mm,
which on paper you got to look at the fast guys. You got, oh wow, this guy's quick, but
yeah.
then again you got to look at the game speed. And McDermott's he was a DB, so he knows what game speed is. So he recognized that this kid is just a baller.
Listen, I can't complain. Like we talked about in our first show about Bean and McDermott, they've done a great job so far. I can't
Absolutely.
really question in what did I say? I think they have 13 of the 16 draft picks they have are still on our squad. So
Yes,
I
sir.
can't really say anything, even though at the time I wasn't too happy with some of these picks and where they went. I mean,
Yep.
looking at them, you could tell they should impact our team and be on our squad. Another thing I didn't say before was just what was it, yesterday or the day before, the Bills signed Brian Cox Jr. to a 1 year deal. The name should
I don't
sound familiar.
I don't
Anyway,
know. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, man. To be honest with you,
well, I got
I
some
remember.
stats here. Let's go through
Go
that
ahead,
real quick. He's
run them down.
25, 6'3", 269 pounds. He played for the Florida Gators. He was an undrafted pick by who? Guess who? What team?
Carolina.
Yeah,
No,
Carolina.
Carolina Panthers.
He was on their practice squad pretty much from 2017 to 2019. The Browns picked him up in 2019. Careers total as of now, he has 30 tackles and a point half or a half sack in 2 years. He suited up for 6 games. That was his stats in Carolina, by the way. He suited up for 6 games for the Browns. He started 2 games with 9 tackles, which was I like. It's 12 tackles, 9 were solo, which is not bad. 2 tackles for losses, and he had 5 QB hits. So 2 games started. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
Like
Now, in my
the
opinion,
name, just to throw it out there, let anybody know who doesn't know. He's the son of Brian Cox, one
yes,
time
sir.
Miami Dolphin, one time New England Patriot. I think he even played for the Jets. I think he played for everybody in the AFC East except for Buffalo.
He hates
And
Buffalo.
he
He hates
paid
Buffalo.
fans
They say he hated
Buffalo
Buffalo. I think he
salute.
hates Buffalo. He gave him the double Buffalo salute. He spit at
Yeah.
fans. This guy hated Buffalo. So I'm kind of torn on this pickup here because now I'm hoping, hey, I want anybody that comes to play for Buffalo to succeed. So I want more than anything else for his son to succeed as a Buffalo Bills, as a big double salute back to his father. You know what I mean?
Let's see if he goes to Buffalo to watch his son play. Yeah.
Is he gonna get Buffalo love? You know what I mean? Are they gonna show him love when he's in the stands? What's gonna happen? But
I don't know. They
hey,
might they might throw that toy they used to throw out Tom Brady. They might throw it at him when he goes
in the end zone, yeah.
there. All
Oh
right.
man, that's what do you think? What do you think? What's your honest opinion is gonna happen? I know, like I said, he signed with
Yeah.
us. His dad did what he did with he was the ultimate enemy of Buffalo. He hated
Oh
Buffalo.
yeah.
Buffalo, they hated him.
He was a
Now, what
nasty
do you
middle
think?
linebacker coming up and hitting our guys, and he would take some cheap shots. He
Absolutely.
didn't mind. That's how he was. Well, he was a good linebacker. Was he the best linebacker? No, he wasn't very fast to go side to side, but he was
Mhm.
a force in the middle. And again, like Buffalo, Miami, those were nasty rivalry back in those days too. We are always playing for the playoffs. in our time back then. So the one thing, he adds depth at defensive end.
Yes, sir.
So hey, earn your spot. We have a lot of depth now on this team. So
Yes,
he's
sir.
going to have to put in his time and see what he could do. With him, now we have 6 former Panthers. I didn't know AJ Klein was a former Panther. So when looking at these notes, I saw that. I was like, okay, so now we have AJ Klein, Josh Norman, Mario Addison, Vernon Butler, and Darrell Williams, and now Brian Cox Jr. So
I I've had a lot of people tell me, "Oh, your Buffalo Bills are now the Carolina Bills," but now look what Tampa's gonna. Look what's going on with Tampa. Are they gonna call them the Tampa Patriots now? I mean, you know, McDermott has a relationship with certain players. So does Bean. So if you have a product that works for you, why not stick with it? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Why go with something different? If it works for you, see how it pans out. I don't have any problem with it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And hey, Big T, if you're watching still, here's one of them. This is Luna making a cameo. They know these players. Some of these players they actually drafted. So hey, if you know them, you like them, why not bring them on?
Why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
By the way, one of my buddies, Kyle, big time Buffalo Bills fan, Kyle Lilly. He was actually born in Buffalo.
All
He's
right.
like, mess with the Bills and you get wrecked. He's the one buddy of mine. I said maybe he will come be on the show with us at some point, maybe in the future. And another buddy sent me a thing. Go Vikings, Dave Brown. We ain't talking about Vikings, man. Diggs, that was
Well,
it.
he's following Stephon Diggs. That's all it is. He wants to see what he's doing.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Uh, Out there, what do you think? Like, I have 2 possible guys I would like maybe if the Bills needed some depth to go after. And one is Alec Ogletree. He played for the Giants. This kid came out of Georgia, which I remember. I wanted the Bills to draft him. So if you needed a little depth out there, I thought maybe Alex Ogletree. And a long shot, I know the Bills looked at this guy, I think it was 2 years ago, was Jordan Reed, tight end. He's injury prone. If you sign him for a 1-year deal, if you get rid of some guys, I wouldn't mind them picking him up, maybe throwing him in the mix, as a depth player. He's got a lot of talent if he stays healthy, and he's been around for a while. I mean, it's
As a
just 2
you
guys.
want to pick up Alec Ogletree, how would he fit in our defense as a linebacker? Being that we already have
So no, it would just be
pretty much
depth,
good line
if
for
anything,
depth.
like
Okay.
outside linebacker possibly. Uh,
Okay.
I don't know. I do like Vance Joseph that we have. They drafted him last year. I like him. He had some issues. I remember that. Another kid who's a defensive end for us was Daryl Johnson. He was playing well for us too. I mean, we
Yep.
have depth, I think, on this squad, and there's a lot of depth. Everybody just my main things is Allen's accuracy. As long as he gets that up, we have receivers. As long as everybody plays nice, because there's only one ball, and there's a lot of players out there to get this ball
Yeah,
to.
man. Yes,
You know,
sir.
and our
I'm
offensive
hoping.
line needs to just pick it up to the next level again.
Yeah. If the offensive line plays well, if Josh Allen works hard this offseason on his accuracy on the 15-yard and deeper ball, this is going to be a team to watch out for, man. We got the weapons, we got the depth on
Mhm.
offense. The defense is, we were top 5 in last year. I mean,
Mhm.
so
Defense
and we're
has
just
been on
picking up
point every
players
year, since
every
Bean.
year. Like I said, if he gets accurate, 15 yards and deeper, we got the wide receiver core. There's no right now's the time. Now's the time. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, this got to be, this year or next year has to be the year that we could go deep into the playoffs, man.
Hey, there's Big Bobby joining us in the corner there.
There's no
Uh,
reason why you guys aren't favored to win the AFC East.
no,
They're still giving New England props. They're still saying New England's going to take it. They don't even. I don't know how they're getting this, but hey, they do have Bill Belichick, so you
like I
know.
said, T show and Bobby show, you still have to beat the man to become the man.
That's right. That's
And
right.
they haven't beat him, so they got to do it. If you can't beat them, we're gonna end up second again,
We
playing for a wild
almost beat
card.
them last year. We
Yeah,
almost
no,
beat them.
listen, I told
Almost.
everybody the Bills were gonna win our division last year. Everybody
Mhm,
thought I was crazy, and it came down to the wire. They almost did it.
mhm.
Everybody thought I was
Absolutely.
nuts. Thought I was just talking crap.
Hey, now we can back it up. Now we can tell Crab and back it up, hopefully. So, like I said, those are the variables. If he could get that
Mhm.
accurate ball 15 yards and deeper and do a little bit better, he has the tools now.
Yeah.
McDermott and Beam got these guys. They got their big receiver they wanted. They got Stephon Diggs, one of the
Mhm.
best hands in the game, with speedster. We got Brown. We got Beasley in the slot. Man, I mean, this is. I'm excited. I don't know about you, but as a Buffalo Bills fan, man, from early '90s, and I've been through all the Heartbreak, Music City Miracle, and
Oh,
Wide Right, all that crap. I'm excited for this. But to be honest with you, this game against Houston, it stung me more, kind of a little bit more than the Music City Miracle. It was kind of
oh,
like, because the first half I was just chilling, like, yeah, we whipping their butt, and all of a sudden it's like you see the decline. I'm like, no. But
yeah.
we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes this year. I think we're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna go far. Hopefully we win the division. I mean, get a home game. That's what I'm hoping for.
Hopefully we have a season. That's the bigger point.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. That's true.
we
But
have all
I
these
read I
players.
read that I read
What's up?
Governor Cuomo appointed what's her name now? The wife, Pagula,
Huh?
as on one of the boards to open things up in New York. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe we should put word in and get the season started.
Hopefully. My brother chimed in another walk it wounded. I'm not sure who's he talking about
I
on that
believe that
one.
was during the Jordan Reed
Jordan,
conversation.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is if he's healthy, and it would just be more
Yeah.
depth than anything. I mean, I like our tight ends. Uh, right now, we have Knox, who I think should start. You have Tyler Croft, who's also one of those injured-prone guys. If he could stay healthy, he's good. Lee Smith, he's just mainly a blocker. We talked about that. And Jason Chrome, I mean, I think this guy needs to step up. He was looking good his rookie year, and then that last year, I think he wasn't even around. He was like they were playing a lot of Lee Smith, and you knew when Smith was in, they were running.
Blocking.
Yep.
Yep.
So who knows? Uh, Bobby, what do we got to promote? I don't have my notes for some of the shows. I know we want to hit up on some of the shows and promote the other
Like I
shows.
mentioned, we have the K&K Sports Show Saturday night doing a State of the NFL. So if you're listening, I know you guys are, if you're available, you'd be the Buffalo Bills representatives. So what Kurt and Kenny are trying to do is to get rep some fans from all the teams kind of come in and talk about what's happening with your teams post NFL draft.
Yes, Oz. I know we don't need Alex or Reed. That was just in case if you wanted some depth. That's all. I threw those two guys out there. My brother's a Cowboy fan, so I had to deal with that. Yeah, we're gonna. At least
I'm
I'll
not
try
sure.
to.
I'm not sure what we're doing. I'm not sure if T and I are doing a show or not. Unfortunately, we're getting very dry again, right? Because there's only so much NFL draft analysis you can do.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that. But one thing, I'm not sure what your preferences will, but Vinny, on Sunday we're doing a little something different. We're doing a bracket style tournament style thing for freestyle music.
Oh, okay.
You'll get a chance to vote for. First, we're gonna do the artist, kind of like a like
Okay.
an NCAA bracket type thing, and then we'll do one for the songs, which will be much bigger. Who's to be the voted best freestyle artist. Then we'll have worked out to the final four of the best freestyle songs ever. So we're gonna start that on Sunday.
I'm there.
We have to
I
dress
love
up in
freestyle, man.
Cavaricis.
Yeah, you must wear wigwams, Cavaricis,
Get some
and red
parachute
Reeboks.
pants, yeah.
That's great. All right, I'll try to see if I can hit up that one, or at least chime in. And we'll try to get on that K&K show and represent at least one of us. Another thing, usually we're on Thursdays, 7:30. Next Thursday might be tough. We might have to change a day. Bobby, I'll talk to you about that.
All right.
Vinny might have to hit the road. So we might be switching things up next week.
Well, like I said, if you guys want to be consistent every week, that's obviously phenomenal.
Yeah.
I also know we're getting dry.
Yeah.
Unless you want to do some more general NFL talk, which is fine as well.
Yeah, we could do that. We could go talk about all those old great Bills players, and we could actually see who's going to get cut or maybe make the team. We'll talk about something. We just might have to switch the day up, but we'll post that up there if we do. Bobby, Vinny has to be on the road, so we'll see. make it easier for him when he's here, maybe on Sunday or something if there's a free slot. But
It's
we'll
kind of
work it out.
difficult
We'll
when you're
let
in
you
the
guys all
backwoods.
know what we got to do
Hey
anyway.
Bobby, it's kind of difficult when you're in the backwoods of Alabama on a side road, pulled over on the side, trying to do a show.
Just be careful, man. I driven through Alabama once when I went to Jackson, Mississippi. It looked pretty scary.
It is, especially. I was like tapping my phone, like, please let me get some service.
All right, guys.
But it's all good.
I think we're
Appreciate
coming
it.
to an end of the show. It's been another episode of Viva Los Bills. For Vinny, Will, Bobby, we're signing off. Thanks for watching, guys. Until next week, Viva Los
Go
Bills.
Bills. Go
Ciao.
Bills.
great
Viva
week.
los Bills.
Bye, guys.